In fact, the only time I've ever found bed bugs, I was speaking at a pest control conference and found
Huh.
it in the hotel room I was staying
The
in.
irony, the
Yeah, the
irony that you
irony
found
of
them at the
it. Yeah.
pest control
And
conference.
I didn't service in the city I was, but some of my friends did, and I told them, and they went up and actually got the contract for the hotel. So kind of a win-win.
This episode is brought to you by Jonathan Keim and the teams at 360 Commercial Roofing and Top Roof Marketing. If you own or manage commercial property or you're a roofing contractor looking to grow, Jonathan has spent more than a decade helping businesses protect their buildings and scale through proven commercial roofing and marketing systems. His companies specialize in commercial roofing solutions, roof asset management, and marketing built specifically for the roofing industry. Whether you need a trusted commercial roofing partner or want to generate more qualified roofing leads, check out 360 Commercial Roofing or Top Roof Marketing. You can go to www.360, like 360, commercialroofing.com, and Top Roof Marketing, www.toproofmarketing.com. This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team.
What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. This episode is brought to you by Blue Collar Business Advisors. If you're running an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, or landscaping, or any other type of home service business and wondering where all the money is going despite growing your revenue, you need to talk to Paul Maskill. Paul has scaled and sold multiple blue-collar businesses and now helps business owners improve cash flow, profitability, and financial clarity through outsourced CFO services. His clients gain a better understanding of their numbers, build predictable profits, and create a business that supports the life they actually want. One of the things I appreciate most about Paul is he's not just a finance guy. He's been in the trenches as an owner. He understands the challenges of running blue-collar businesses because he's done it himself. If you're doing a few $1 million a year in revenue and want to stop guessing at your numbers and start building real wealth, head over to bluecollaradvisors.com. That's thebluecollaradvisors.com and schedule a discovery call with Paul and his team. Blue Collar Business Advisors, helping blue-collar business owners build financially healthy companies and achieve permanent profitability.
This episode is brought to you by Corberry Digital. If you own an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roofing, or home service business and you're tired of wondering where your next lead is coming from, you need to check out Corberry Digital. Corberry specializes exclusively in helping home service companies dominate their local markets through SEO, Google Ads, local service ads, websites, content marketing, and lead generation systems that actually produce a measurable ROI. Their team doesn't just focus on clicks and impressions. They help contractors lower customer acquisition costs, increase qualified leads, and build a marketing engine that scales. What I like about Corberry is they understand the blue-collar space. They aren't trying to be everything to everyone. Their entire focus is helping trades businesses win in their backyard and generate more profitable jobs. If you're looking to grow your business, improve your online visibility, and build a marketing system that works, visit Corberry.com and schedule a strategy session with their team. That's Corberry.com. Tell them you heard about them on the podcast. This episode is brought to you by 10X Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10X Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker. They only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork, it's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Builder's Bible and the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by Seth Watson, who is a pest control company owner himself. A REIT is the name of his pest control company. He is also the owner of Focus Virtual Assistants. And I have been trying to meet and become friends with other staffing agencies because I've been inspired by the blue collar space and all the masterminding that goes on. And I've been wondering, what the heck are we doing? Why aren't we masterminding amongst the VA staffing agencies? So, Seth, man, let's start with the pest control stuff. How did you get into that space, and tell us about the company?
Yeah, so I started, in college. I started knocking doors, selling pest control door to door. I got my degree in accounting. I opened a small tax business, mainly around people, independent contractors, people doing sales and those types of things, and grew that while I was in college, and sold it. Got rid of it about 2007, 2008 when I graduated college with a bachelor's degree in accounting, and realized I don't want to be in the corporate world sitting at a desk, although that's what I do all day now. But and so I started a pest control company, and that's how I got into it, man. Started that, sold that off, and then in 2015 started another company, a REIT pest control in Atlanta, Georgia. Now we're in Atlanta and Utah.
Are you Mormon by chance? Because I feel like a lot of people that started pest control are Mormon.
I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy to me, man. Half of the guys I've met in pest control, are Mormon. That's just, it's a crazy connection for me. So where's
on missions, and we know how to deal with objections and hard things and knock doors. And,
Yep.
Yeah, like good, honest, hardworking people. So.
Yep. Where's the REIT at now in terms of size or scale?
Yeah, we do a little over 2 million. So, wanting to get bigger, but it is what it is. So
my 5-year-old Foster will be remiss if I don't ask you, what is the most unique pest that you guys deal with?
Unique? I mean, dude, there's thousands of pests. Bed bugs is pretty unique. That
you get a lot of bed bugs in Atlanta?
Yeah, you get a lot of bed bugs everywhere. It's funny, like I won't go to a hotel. Now we have this process. We love to travel. And like we have this process before we go into the room. The kids are like, all right, let dad go in. And they stand outside and I go check for bed bugs. And before.
It's on the corners underneath the mattress, right?
Yeah, in hotels, the number one place you want to look is actually behind the pictures or the bedboards that are behind the wall. That's
really?
Where you're going to find probably 70% of them are going to not be on the actual bed because they're used to the beds are changed so often, right? So they're going to flip off their move. Most of the time they're on furniture and things. About 70% of them, only 30% will be on the bed when you look for it. And so I'll actually, if the picture will come off the wall, a lot of times they're bolted, but I'll at least get that behind the wall and look there, the nightstand, and then I will look on the bed.
Do you find them in nice hotels sometimes? Like we're not talking like the swanky, nasty place. You find them in nice places?
Nice places. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The difference between the swanky and the not so swanky is the swanky will pay to have it treated.
Huh.
It doesn't matter, man. They don't segregate. They don't know, And so, in fact, the only time I've ever found bed bugs, I was speaking at a pest control conference and found it in the hotel room I was staying in.
The irony that you found them at the pest control conference.
And I didn't service in the city I was, but some of my friends did, and I told them, and they went up and actually got the contract for the hotel. So, kind of a win-win.
Hell yeah. I love hearing stories like that. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So,
what's going well with the pest control business, and what are some challenges you guys are facing?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the great thing about pest control is it's a need. It's not a one and done service for us, right? So we
Hmm.
love that. Not that it's recession proof, but it really helps when downturns come, right? Everyone still needs bugs. Everyone will find money to pay to get rid of bugs, and so that is a great part of the business. Um, some of the hardest, just like anything else, like you talked to, wanting to be a mastermind group. But I would say for us, the hardest thing is lead generation. We're fantastic at selling, but it's just getting enough leads, quality
Hmm.
leads that you want. I would say that's my biggest challenge. That's what I spend majority of my time on in the business. If I'm not coaching people, is getting quality leads for my team. And then
Hmm.
obviously any business, people people is always a challenge.
Yeah.
I would say that's usually the hardest thing is finding great people, because if you find great people, it's amazing at how well your business will do. And that's what led me to VAs, ironically enough. Not that I'm making that plug, but it's true, right?
No,
Good
no,
technician.
but we're about to plug them for 30 minutes. So
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
I'm, I'm in on that. Well,
yeah.
it's interesting to me that it has taken, and that's my next question is around AI and VA. So I'm encouraged by the blue collar space. I'm seeing a lot of guys take hold of AI and overseas staffing. Um, Pest control guys, it's not uncommon for me to talk to one that had like over 10 VAs. Like where are you using them in the business?
My whole back office is ran by virtual assistants. My call center, my inside sales team, billing, routing, scheduling, collections, retention, reporting, everything's done back office by virtual assistants.
Yeah. And how are you integrating AI into the business?
We use it. We'll use AI for call overflow and after hours. I love AI. I just don't think it's there yet. Like there's still a resistance to it, and it's not very good at some of those tasks. But it's great for the first contact. I love it for that. We've used it to build really cool CRMs and platforms for us. And then obviously, my favorite thing is just brainstorming. Is what I use it probably the
Yeah.
most for. But I mean, we've had it build CRMs and all kinds of stuff for us. Data, trying to turn it into a data tool so it pulls and gives us reports automatically. I would say those are the biggest. Call recording, call grading, those types of things um,
Yeah.
are the
Where do
big.
you feel like you could be using it more? Like if there was a place that you feel like you could integrate AI into your business, what would be one area that you
Man,
feel like
that's
it
a
would be
good
helpful?
question. I like to automate things. That's why I went with the pest control software I did. And so I would love to see, probably if we built out some better uh, dashboards and scoreboards, right?
Hmm.
For that. Personally, that's what, right now I have a VA that does all of that for me. And so I've bought her, access to AI platforms. And so I would probably love to see us automate more of that. If we
Hmm.
have phones and those and the data from that, but just it pulling in the data and giving us the answers we want to know live.
Yeah. Um, what with the what's my next question? Let's talk about the VA business for a sec. When
Yeah.
did you guys start doing when did you start Focus?
We started Focus at the end of 2022.
And where is it at? And full disclosure, I own a staffing agency, so anything you
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable as like, but I'm just
No.
always so curious to hear where are you guys at in terms of overall scale. And like, I'm always curious to ask like how many. I think the last time we talked, you said roughly 20 to 30 a month. It sounds like it's pretty consistent that you're
Yeah.
onboarding new VAs every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, we try to, right? This last month's been a little bit slower because we've had some processes that we need to fix. But yeah, we're looking to do 20 to 30 every month is what kind of our goal is, and we've been hitting this year so far. Kind of been blessed, but dude, like it's all about getting good people, right?
Yeah.
like for me, I talked about like that's one of the biggest challenges in pest control is just finding really good talent. And so part of that is how do we find and vet and retain really good talent? Because unfortunately, some of the jobs that we're replacing are low level. I hate to say it, but really they are kind of lower level jobs answering the phones, right? Like in the US, we're going to pay anywhere from 18 to 25 bucks an hour for that person, where
Right.
I have people from Mexico or the Philippines I'm paying, 8 to 10 bucks an hour that literally have 10 years of customer service experience and have a master's degree in customer experience, right? Like they're going to give my people 10 times the experience than I would hiring somebody that's local that I'm competing with McDonald's and Walmart to hire and take care of my customers.
I mean, yeah, I just don't understand. These are jobs that Americans do not want anymore. Would you rather get the bottom or middle of the barrel here or the top of the barrel in another country? And I found, Seth, and correct me if you've seen something different, but it's just getting over the limiting beliefs of the owner, right? Like, there's no way you'll find me someone like they all think about the time they called the customer service line and it was a really thick Indian accent, right? I'm like, dude, it's not like that. Like, I literally can find you someone with perfect English. You'd have no clue that she's not in America.
You're spot on, and as we work with people, right, we're a little different, and our focus as approach is we're very hands on. We're going to come in and meet with the business. We're going to work with the business. We're going to coach and mentor, and we've got a whole team to support them to make sure that the VA works. And selfishly, we do that right, so you stay a customer and we keep you. But two, we want to have a fantastic. You want you to have a fantastic experience. And one thing I have learned from this is, and if anyone's out there listening to this looking for a VA, the biggest mistake people make when hiring a VA, and I'm going to pre-emphasize this because accent is very important, right? You call someone, it sounds like they're from another country and you can't understand them, you're dead right off the bat, right? If you've ever done sales, you have only a few seconds to win that person over.
Yeah.
But having said that, the biggest mistake people make is they hire a virtual assistant solely off of accent, right? That's the biggest mistake I see because they'll like, I want that person. And you're like, they sound great, but they're about as smart as that bag of rocks over there. And so like, if you're hiring, accent is important. It's not number one. I'm going to talk to that person. I'm going to make sure, can they have a conversation? Can they think on their feet? Can they pivot if I give them a hard question? Because at the end of the day, if you called into my pest control company and you heard someone with a light accent, but they were fantastic, took care of after 10 seconds, you forgot that they have an accent or you think it's cool. Right? So I would say.
When are you using Mexico out of curiosity? So with the Philippines, they're very task oriented, very humble, very submissive. I found that sales, you kind of have to teach them to come out of their shell a little bit. It's hard to find someone that's just like a dog, and just gets after it. Are you going to Mexico more for phone stuff, sales, creatives? Like, when are you going to Mexico versus PH?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So when I first started, right, like you have to understand, let's say like an Asian culture like the Philippines and over there, right? Like a lot of times they get a bad stigma that they're yes people, right? If you've never been there, my partner in Focus just came back and was like, they are the nicest people in the world. He's like, it was my best trip. They're so kind. And sometimes they get taken advantage because they are so kind. That's why they're fantastic at customer service. And so you go to Latin America, like in the Philippines, you're like, hey, can you work a Saturday? They don't dare tell you no. They're like, yeah, I'll pick it up, even though it's my kid's birthday. And you're like, I don't want you to do that. You go to Mexico and they're like, no, I don't want to work Saturday. Like they're too Americans sometimes, right? They're like, no, you're lucky if I show up on Friday. And so one thing I have learned is I used to think you could only get sales and retention from Latin America and Mexico. That's not the case, although they are a little better at dealing with no and objections and having those hard conversations because of culturally. But honestly, it all comes down to you're hiring the right person. We have fantastic salespeople and retention people from the Philippines, and we have fantastic salesmen from Latin America. Are they a little better with no in Latin America? Yeah, they are. But if you're going to train them, it's all about personality either way. So
Yeah. Yeah. Out of curiosity, so I know some VA staffing firms, I know I talked to the Sphere Rocket guy. He's doing all three. He's doing recruitment model. He's doing the finder's fee model. They're white labeling. They're marking up the hourly rate. What's your guys' model? And then do you offer different like pricing models for clients?
yeah, so our model is we're going to go find them, vet them, make sure they're set up, and then say we give you $8 an hour, we're going to try to make a couple bucks an hour off of them. So our
Right.
model is we're going to place them with you and make it. I don't love and I'm not opposed to it like Sphere Rock. Like, hey, we'll find them for you. A lot of times you're just setting people up for success, right? Like, are you managing them legally? Are you the employee of record? Do you know about 13th month? Do you know about their labor laws? You know about, and they're like, just pay them through, this platform and you'll be fine. But like, we have our number 3 largest lead source is people that got in trouble doing it on their own and come to us and be like, hey, we have some attorneys
Interesting.
with, and they're like,
Really?
oh, you got to go use Focus because they're going to do it correctly. And so
Huh.
there are some things you need to be aware of. Are you going to get caught? Probably not, but you're going to fail more times than you're going to succeed doing it that way. And so, it was kind of like I finished my basement at my house, and all my neighbors are like, Seth, why did you go pay a permit to the city? Now you just have to pay more taxes. I was like, dude, I'd rather pay the $500 fee and know that it's taken care of and it's correct than saving $500 and doing it incorrectly. So same type of thing. You get a VA, do it right, do it the right
Yeah.
way. Don't have to be worrying if I get audited or what about my insurance, and just make sure you're set up correctly. I
Where
wasn't.
did the boon in pest control? When did pest control guys all of a sudden latch onto VAs? Because it's pest control and roofers are the two that it's like everybody knows about them. Even if they're not using them, they know about them because they go to conferences and masterminds and stuff. HVAC, plumbing, electrical, still not really there. Construction guys, way behind, like almost never, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, when did this boon, like, because pretty much every pest control guy I talk to either has a buddy that has one or they have like 10, you
Yeah,
know?
they're probably using us.
Yeah,
We have
probably. Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds in the pest control industry. I started using them 5 years ago, and that's how I got into it. Is I started using VAs, and it was awesome, right? They were better than my American employees,
Totally.
and so at that point, I partnered with Jake Kendall, who already had an agency, and we created Focus, and so it's kind of been slow over the last 5 years, and now it's if you're not using a VA, then your margins, your overhead's going to be a lot higher than others, and we're going to have more on marketing. So we're going to take your customer, the leads you couldn't get. So I'd say 5 years ago, it's kind of started, this snowball started.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, it is interesting. We started to, I love the construction guys and it's hard, but we do some estimator placements. That's one that I just am like, the more I understand this space, I'm like, bro, that can be done from a computer overseas. You do not
Yeah.
need someone in the States. That role is typically 150 grand, right? To find an estimator. We found a really good estimator, sticks around $9 an hour in the Philippines. And oh, by the way, like, it's funny because there's a lot of third party firms that do takeoffs, right? You can hire a third party firm and all the construction guys are like, well, the takeoff's never really right. Guess what? They're outsourcing to the Philippines, the outsourced takeoff firms.
Yeah.
And so they all have experience with Procore and Builder Trend and all this stuff. And so and that is without question the number one thing that takes a construction guy away from what he should be doing is estimates, which is insane to me.
And you make a good point. Like a VA and I always say this, right? Like, I want to work on my business. What am I doing to add revenue and growth, and how am I able to meet with people? Because that's what I enjoy doing. That's what I'm good at, right? And so, like, you go and get a VA because you can double what you're doing. You're not tied up doing the busy work like that. That's one of the biggest, probably the biggest hurdle we get when we talk to people. Do a sales presentation is like, listen, they're like, but I'm so good at answering the phones, or I'm so good at running these jobs. And you're like, yeah, dude, but you're always going to be the best salesman in your business. You're always going to be the best technician. You're always going to be the best estimator, right? But you can't grow your business if you don't know how to use people and scale. And it's like, what's a better way than getting a VA that's highly educated? You can afford that miss. You can't afford the $150,000 dude that's writing estimates for you.
Yeah. Well, and I think also in the blue collar space, what I appreciate is everybody's trying to hire the $1 million tech, right? And
Yeah.
so in order for you to go out and get that guy, like you said with marketing, I'm like, bro, like make a better offer for the guy that can swing a hammer, so save money over here with AI and VAs and go make a more competitive offer for the guy that can plumb or, roof or whatever, because those guys they're going to be in short supply, especially with, how fast the trades are booming. I'm working on an interesting one right now, and I'm trying to get an electrical contractor in Texas just getting hammered on trying to recruit electricians. And I'm like, dude, I can literally clone my recruiter, put a version of her in your company. A ton of companies outsource to the Philippines for recruiting. So an in-house recruiter where you don't have to pay commission or a rip to some sort of a staffing agency, like why wouldn't you do something like that? And he couldn't believe it. I was like, bro, this is about to be on autopilot. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's and I tell people, like, hardest thing is educating them, right? You can get a VA to do everything except for go and get your mail, right? If it's remote, you should be looking at it. But there is a learning curve, right? Like, I think that's important people understand. We had one company when we first started, and they were like, they tried it out, and they're like, this is awesome. And they call me and they're like, hey, Seth, we need 8 more. And I was like, okay, great. And we're like foaming at the mouth. We're excited. And they call me a week later and they're like, hey, we need 10 more. And we're just like throwing at them. And then, a couple months later, they're like, this isn't working so well. And we kind of sat down and realized, like, yeah, they actually didn't know how to manage and run a VA. So I would say, anyone that's listening is like, yes, you should get one, but that's part of, if you're working with a legit agency, like, they should be able to walk you through. Like, we have full-time trainers, and we sit down with every company and we meet with them, and we want to make sure they're set up for success, because there's cultural things you need to be aware of. There's workforce things, how do we make them feel like they're a member of our team and part of that family? And so there's lots of things you need to be aware of before hiring a VA. I can't tell you how many we've hired where, like, Seth, VAs suck. And I was like, you sit down and you find out, well, yeah, they suck because you didn't know how to manage them.
Yeah.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 2 questions.
Yeah.
Are you doing any upsells, any additional, like, private coaching, or here's this software I've created that helps you manage your VA? Is there anything in addition to just purely the VA? And then retention, have you guys figured out a way to stop churn?
So the first answer is no, we're not. Right now, with everything, as far as we're not upselling anything, we're almost like, hey, man, we're going to take care of you. We have in-house trainers. If your VA is struggling, we want to know before it's strike 3 so we can sit down with them and help them. Just a different model, right? It's kind of customer first. We're going to make sure. And then they tell us about 10 of their friends, right? And so, no, we don't have any upsells right now. Right now, everything we do is we'll support you and your team as much as we can to make sure it's a fit. And then, what was the second question?
Retention. How do you prevent churn?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing with, one, you got to have great communication with your clients, right? Are they struggling? Because what I hate is we had this one client come, and they're a really big e-commerce company, and they'll add 30 VAs at a time. And their first 30 VAs they added with us, they called me back, 2 weeks later or a month later, and they're like, Seth, this isn't working out. Their net promoter scores, they're sinking. They're not good. And so I started talking to them, right, and realized there was a gap between training. It was like, hey, when you train your VAs, when they mess up, what are you doing, right? And he would say, well, I let them know, and kind of we came up with a process like, okay, when they mess up, I need you to send them the recording. This is what they're doing wrong. this is how we want you to do it. Like, just do that
Mm-hmm.
bare minimum, right? And I was like, do that over the next week. Call me. We set up a meeting. If they're not better, we'll replace all 30 of them. We have a replacement guarantee. We'll make sure they're all good, right? Because it didn't make sense. Like, we've pre-vetted these. We know you at least have half of them are absolute studs, right? And so he calls me. I call him in a week, and he's like, hey, give me one more week. So before our meeting the next Friday, he calls me on Thursday, and he's like, so stoked because he's like, hey, Seth, our VAs, their net promoter scores are better than our US people. And I was like, dude, this is free. This is amazing. What happened? He says, we did what you did is we started what you asked is we started training them and showing them, hey, this was the bad call you did. Here's an example of what you should do. And it was kind of like, well, yeah, duh, of course they're going to get better. I love golf. If I want to get better at golf, I've got to practice. I've got to know what I'm doing wrong. And so I would say the biggest thing with churn is just using that example is like, how are we supporting and helping our clients to make sure that it's a good fit?
That's good. That's a good word.
And it's hard too, right? And you probably know this. Like, the hardest thing is I go find you a rock star VA, and sometimes we see them fail, but I can't, we've talked a lot about VAs, and I'm like, dude, how can I help you? I can't control how you can run your business, right? If I gave you a rock star VA and you mismanaged them, at some point you've got to be able to manage your team. And so retention is just making sure we're part of them. They know we're on their team. We're there to help support them. And you do lose people, right? I'm human. You're human. The VA's human.
Yeah.
We all, I get guys that are like, I tried a VA and they're like, it doesn't work. And you're like, bro, have you ever hired a technician to go spray houses and it didn't work? And they're like, yeah, all the time. It's like, that's the same thing, right? Just because one didn't work doesn't mean the whole,
right.
Like, it's working for hundreds of other companies. You just think it's not going to work for you. Sorry.
So we know this, that was good. We've touched on a couple things. Internal sales was one that I talked to a guy up in New Hampshire. He had a VA doing internal sales for him. And I realized that even I was thinking too small. He had a VA clearing $60,000 a year. And he's like, he's my best sales guy. I'm like, bro, that guy is a millionaire in the Philippines. I hope he lives in a gated community. Any other roles that you think could be valuable for VAs that people aren't really trying? I can think of a ton. Like the estimator one is one that has just opened up my eyes. What are some other roles that you think people should be open to?
We've placed some engineers with solar companies has been a big one. Accountants right now, I've got a CPA that I pay. I think he's $13 an hour. He's fantastic, right? Does all the accounting for all of my businesses. Sells.
He's a CPA in the Philippines?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know the requirements, but it's pretty similar. I mean, he's got a master's degree in so much work, and he's worked for so many US firms and things like that. And so, yeah, I think accounting's a big one. Payroll, I have a VA that does all my payroll. Sales, retention, collections is a big one.
AR, man. AR. I like, that is a cheat code in my opinion. Like, have a VA doing AR for you big time.
We have a lot that are like data analysis for companies. So they go and get your data and analyze it and put it. And AI helps a lot with that now, but at least knowing how to get it and give it to AI so it feeds it the way you want it to. That's a big one that we get a lot for. And then your normal ones, customer service is probably our number one thing we get VAs for.
Just the phones.
Yeah. Phones for companies.
Cool. What's one thing we haven't talked about today that you get excited about?
Dude, I don't like what in what way? Business?
Man, there's nothing. It could be, this is a faith-friendly podcast. You could talk family, you could talk sports, you could talk culture at your company. Like, anything is fair game. I just want to make sure we've talked about everything you want to talk about.
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear, what are we missing on VAs that I'm not doing?
Well, I've had 3 or 4 VA guys on. One of the things that I do is I cross sell AI because I think it's the same client. So I pitched an AI CSR to a roofer today with a marketing VA. So I believe that the gap between the blue collar guys and the AI technology is a VA in the Philippines. Like most of those guys, I don't think are going to learn the super nerdy AI tools. So you just drop a voice memo to your VA through WhatsApp or whatever, and they upload it. But so that's one thing that I think that really runs parallel to the VA conversation. I think of all the VA staffing firms I've talked to, the one that there have been two that were really interesting, but man, the Sphere Rocket guy he was fascinating to me. And he gave me a really great idea, which is that he has a lot of clients prepay for the entire year. And I was like, bro, that is actually freaking brilliant. He gets them, he'll give them a discount, 20% off if you pay in full right now. Oh, by the way, you get access to our private mastermind and all these extra trainings. Because that's been one of the things that I was a financial advisor, so I was used to a lot of like lump sum money, like life insurance commissions, annuity commissions. And so with this VA company, it feels like I'm building a rental portfolio. It's like I'm just stacking like $1 or $2 or $500 a month, $1,000 a month. I'm like, bro, it's going to take us forever to get to 10 million, you know? But I like that idea because you're giving them an opportunity to get a discount. You're upselling them on something. And then he's like, if they don't have the cash, we'll finance it. I was like, shut up. And he's like, yeah. So we have a third party lender. So that helped me a lot because I've been trying to figure out how can I get more cash in the bank on this stuff fast, you know? Because I kind of feel like we're just putzing along every month at like 10 placements a month. And I'm trying to get it to 20 to 30 where you're at. And I don't know. I think we're like 3 feet from gold in a couple places, but yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, no, that's intriguing. Yeah, no, there's some people are definitely stoked if they can get a rip if they can pay the year up front for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. But I'm all about the slow churn and listen, man. Like all the great there's no cheat code to success. There's no cheat code. Hey, if I do this, it's like you've just got to put in the work day by day, and it just slowly starts compounding, man. Like I don't know. That's what I've seen, and honestly, that's the recurring model. I love it, man. I think that's where you build real wealth.
Well, I'm going to have probably no less than 1 million questions, but I'm actively working on a WhatsApp group and a Facebook group similar to Pest Control Millionaires for staffing agencies. I guess I didn't realize, Seth, how many there are. But once I started looking for them, there's literally hundreds of them, you know, which is kind of crazy. And like one of the buddies I have from my coaching group, he's exclusively El Salvador. That's all he does, you know, some that only do like Egypt and the Middle East. And so it's just interesting to me, like how versatile this community is, you know, what the different kinds of niches and stuff. Like I talked to one that all he does is people that own short-term rentals, property management firms for short-term rentals, you know?
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot to be said if you can go in and find a niche. How do you say that? Niche. Thank you. Yeah. A niche and really do well at it. We've done extremely well in pest control because I own a pest control business, and like nobody knows how to put a VA better than me in a pest control company. You add all the other VA agencies together, and they probably don't have as many VAs in pest control as I do, right? Because no one's better at it than us. Like I freaking run a pest control company every day. Like, I'm happy to help you all I can. But Andrew, if you and I go up against the same person, 9 times out of 10, they're signing up with me if they have a pest control. It's like, dude, I live it every day. Like I know it. Right? And so like, I think it does speak to if you can find something and you just be the best at that, like there's a lot of gold mined in that, right?
Totally. Yeah. And I wish I could have done something similar with financial advisory firms, which is what I am. But dude, the compliance was a bitch. So I did not want to mess with it.
I haven't, we've had a lot of buddies that do finance and they're like, Seth, we got to get a VA. And they talk to, I don't even know who they got to talk. I guess they have a compliance officer.
It just it depends on what type of securities license they have. If they have a Series 65 or 66, it's basically if they have a Series 6 or 7, it is going to be a really tough uphill battle. And if they work for a captive firm like Edward Jones, Merrill Lynch, good luck. Not happening, right? But if they are like John Smith of Smith Financial and they're completely independent and they're not subject to a much larger entity, because the thing is the PII, it was the private client information. And dude, I literally had it all mapped out. I'm like, I'll get a freaking secure site over there that they can clock in and out. And I had it all mapped. We fingerprinted them, background checked them. And whatever it was, at the end of the day, they still didn't approve it. I have no idea why. They didn't tell me. But I was like, F this. I'm not going to mess with this space, you know?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But someone that can figure that out, if you can go in that sector, then you know what I mean? They're going to crush it.
Totally. Yeah. I just like the blue collar space, and look, we won't run into each other, quite honestly, because it's crazy to me how big the space is, like, and how much opportunity there is. Like, if I only focused on HVAC, I literally see every day no less than 30 different HVAC trucks around town,
And I'll tell you this, like, my model is, if we do, like, guess what, man? I'm going to take some of your clients and you're probably going to take some of mine. And that's okay.
Yep.
As long as we do it honestly and fair and we high five
Yep.
at the end of the day, like, there's enough for everyone. So anyone that has an agency, anything I can do to help, like, reach out. I'm an open book. I'm the same way in pest control. Some of my best friends are guys that I compete with in pest control. Rising seas rise all ships. So I think we can all help each other. And I think that's what we're supposed to do, right? Love God and love our neighbor. Those are the two most important things. So.
Amen. Well, where can people find out more, Seth, if they want to learn more about you and your business?
Yeah. So if it's pest control, it's Seth at aretepest.com. That's ARETE. Or Focus Virtual Assistants at Seth. It's SETH at focusvirtualassistants.com. I'm on, if you want to look me up on Facebook, Instagram, all the socials as well.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Don't go anywhere because I want to keep talking, but thanks for coming on the show.
You bet, man. Thanks for having me.